Hello and welcome back to day 9 of the Greatness Within journey. 31 days to reconnect with yourself and start confidently creating a life that you love, waking up to a life worthy of you. We're going through the process of making your list, of listing out your deck of cards that defines your life, who you think you are, your identity. There's nothing right or wrong. You're not supposed to be passing judgment. You're just making a list to become aware of all these things that you use to define yourself. Today, we're talking about the last category that I noticed I would use to define myself. And in this instance, it's probably the most challenging one to explain. It's more of a philosophy than something I can explain like in practice or practical terms. So, you may have heard of the phrase by René Descartes that says, I think, therefore I am. I think, therefore I am. To some extent, that is accurate. The way we create is first comes a thought, then that thought creates some version of an emotion, and then that emotion forces us or makes us act a certain way. Sometimes it's conscious, sometimes unconscious, but at the end of the day, there's a thought process that creates some version of an emotion. And then we have to act because emotions kind of have to express themselves in some shape or form. Something like me driving on the highway and then someone trying to pass me on the right, I may instinctively cringe or start saying something or get angry because I have this idea that no one should be passing me on the right unless they're just trying to pretend they're better than I am and they're not. And it's just an argument I have in my head, but it's an example. And so in that instance, I could say, well, I'm I'm a person. I'm angry when somebody passes me on the right, or I'm a person that gets angry when somebody passes me on the right, and that's actually not necessarily true. I'm not necessarily an angry person. It's just a moment where I felt a certain emotion, but that doesn't necessarily define me as a whole. Um, so that's kind of how this concept of a thought is not who I am. A thought kind of can work into me my becoming. If I change my thinking, then I can express in this world a different way and have different outcomes and create different results. But at the end of the day, who's doing the thinking? And you would probably say, I am. Well, okay. If you are, something cannot be itself, right? A thought cannot be something higher than a thought. So it's almost like we are something. We're the space where thoughts are coming in and passing through and things are happening. It's almost like we're something greater than the thought itself. So that's where I'm coming from in this instance. That's something that I'm challenging. So in this exercise, you are making a list of how you're thinking, how your thinking process is defining you, how your thinking process may not be serving you. And then maybe you start writing down what are some of these thoughts that you use to label to identify yourself with. Maybe you think I'm crazy, I'm emotional, I'm sensitive, I'm an empath. Like maybe you have a certain pattern of thinking and you start saying, oh my gosh, that's crazy, I'm a crazy person, I'm a whatever. Like maybe you're using these thinking and thinking patterns to kind of identify yourself with them and just pay attention to them, make it less. Maybe I'm not sure how this explicitly will be written down, but just maybe write down some of the things where some of the examples where your thinking is getting in the way. Maybe some examples where you think you have to think a certain way in order to be something. Um, that's it. That's pretty much it. Just make the list, and then tomorrow we'll gather the 4 lists and put them into the test. Figure out which ones, maybe the ones that we want, which ones seem to be in there because somebody else told us that they should be in there, or we just got used to them. So that's what we'll do tomorrow. For now, just make the lists, work through them, don't judge, just become aware of them, identify them, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Feel free to comment and share what's going on, and I'll